Whoo, everyone, hello. We are here with the Instant Reactions post game hosted by 110 Football. Guys, I don't know what to say about that one. Really at a loss for words here. I mean, Vince, just going to start with you. Give me your initial thoughts here.
Ooh, initial thoughts. I'm going to start by saying this. For once, guys, that you're in the chat, we can actually see the chat. Yep. So we'll try our best to actually interact with you. They set us up a nice big screen over here. I'm pointing to something that's totally random for you guys, but go ahead and just get in the chat. My initial thoughts are the team feels cursed because can you rattle off those shot stats for me real quick?
Yeah, they finished with 24 shots, 7 shots on goal. In the first half alone, 14, so split 14 and 10 shots. I mean,
and had to rely on VAR for once to bail us out for a hot second. Keep in mind that shots on goal are not counted if you hit a post, which we did.
Right.
Look, in a lot of ways, they did everything right up to a point.
Right.
And then you can call some of it luck, you can call some of it bad finishing, but this is exactly what happens when you don't score goals. Goals change games, goals give you advantages, goals kill off teams, especially teams at home that are going to be buoyed by the fact that they have not played at home in almost 2 years. And you just lingered, and you just tried to see it out, and this is what you get. Literally, this is what you get. So we're gonna obviously have a long chat about all this, but tactically, I actually thought they were good.
Yeah, I mean, even, I'm going to agree with Dark Frames. I see you in the chat. Like you said, mentally, it doesn't seem that the team is there. And I'm right there with you on my thoughts. That was my first thing that I noticed in this one.
What about him saying glad to see Connor is back? How do we feel about that?
I mean, it's good. I'm glad. We've been happy that Connor's back.
I thought you were about to give him some love.
That's that's like our, that can be a stock rising for later. Connor's here.
That's stock rising?
Yeah, maybe, Connor, what are your takeaways from this one right now?
I feel like every post game this year has been the exact same.
Yeah.
Am I crazy in saying that?
I mean, for the past month it has been.
Talked about the same thing. I'm starting to get redundant in the stuff that we're saying. I'm starting to kind of lose ideas of what should be my stock rising, my stock falling, because it feels like each game.
Connor, maybe it's because you've been missing.
Yeah, you started to understand why you disappeared for 2 months.
Right.
I just, you know what, for you guys at home who don't know why I left, it's just because, LAFC wasn't performing too well, so I just dipped.
He did. Wow.
I'm kidding.
Hate to hear that. But no, in reality, it could be you. We're trying to pinpoint and find whether it's the lineup, whether it's the right guys on the pitch, whether, we see you in the chat coming after Bob Bradley. Like, maybe it's just the fact that Connor hasn't been here.
I hope not.
Because you're going to disappear for another extended period.
Yeah, but really, it's like I said before, it's in a way it's starting to get even more excruciating, the fact that we're getting the same results without too much changing. But in a way, it's starting to get kind of normal.
But I'll say this. So San Jose for me was the real low point of this. Obviously, some of the results have been lower. Portland's a gut punch. Minnesota's a gut punch. But San Jose, I'm watching a team where I'm like, what are they doing?
Right.
Actually, what are you doing? There was no midfield. You got San Jose just running wild. Then they play Atlanta, and I'm watching that game, and yes, they don't win that game, but it was pretty even in the first half. And then the second half, we played better, but as we do, our one mistake ends up in a goal.
Yeah.
That's how it always happens for LAFC, it seems like. Then this game, I think they took it up to another level because Atlanta, even though they were creating some chances, they weren't these chances where we were absolutely you have to finish it. In this game, I felt 5 or 6 times we were I don't even quite understand the physics of how that ball was held out.
Yeah.
So for me, look, it's not going to make anybody feel better. I get it, 7 without a win, but the opportunities are getting better.
Right.
And I think that's the only thing that the team can rely on because there's not much else to get at.
I appreciate the slight optimism out of you because,
look,
even right now, it feels like it. I mean, sitting here.
I'm watching I'm watching this chat and they're going nuts, and I get it. But here's the deal: 14 games still to play, regardless of what you say. So, would you prefer that they just fire everyone and the players start from scratch? Because guys, it can always get worse.
Right.
I just want to point that out. It can always get worse. But yeah, I think that they have to look at this and go, guys, if you put a couple of those into the back of the net, we don't even have to worry about this game at all.
Right.
We're all over that team.
So with all of this, and you know, I can tell Vince, like even this, you're still fired up for this team. So like
I'm watching this chat.
Yeah.
It's going nuts. And I look, I like all these and I like everyone throwing stuff out here, but some of the stuff like changing the captain.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your headline for tonight?
Oh, my headline for tonight is I can't believe what I'm seeing.
All right.
Because I literally couldn't. I mean, like Brian Rodriguez on his butt tries to hit that ball and it hits the crossbar. And then also I can't believe that like we actually got a VAR, like something went our way. How many
Controversially went our way.
Yeah, controversially, whatever we want to say, but like how many times have we had like almost, it seemed like stone cold VAR opportunities and the referee's like, oh, we're not even going to look.
Yeah.
And this time he's like, they're kind of allowing, because remember there was the head injury, or not the head injury, Brian like thought his knee was injured.
Yeah.
Everyone's just kind of standing around, the referee just kind of slipped off to the side. Like, hey, I'm going to go check something out over here.
Yeah.
And then comes back and goes, hey, it's a penalty, by the way. We were like, what?
Oh, you were the most surprised.
I was surprised. And then Rossi, we all kind of thought, because he had ballooned a few over and didn't look confident, we were like, I don't feel confident about this. But that was a really confident penalty.
Drained it.
I mean, I really thought that might be, you know, the moment that then he might take off from there, and that would have been his moment, you know, like here's the turnaround that we needed and the confidence that this team needs, but that was not.
I think he did play better. I mean, he wasn't ballooning the ball over the top. He forced that save that Brian then put into the post. Yeah, but that should have been the narrative, right? Like the floodgates should have opened.
Right.
But
so speaking of narratives, Connor, your headline.
My headline would be comfortably numb.
Yeah.
Because, like I was kind of saying before, I can't help but feel that each week it's been kind of the same story, and I'm kind of used to it in a way. And I may be past the point of being able to get really angry about it now because it's happened so much. Like I said, it feels like the norm. So I'm kind of comfortably numb getting these really crappy results, even after sometimes some good football.
So would you say that you're apathetic to this? You're just accepting of this?
I'm accepting reality. I like that. There was a comment, I don't know who, but it was someone who said, reverting back to the MLS norm, they said. Astro broadcast.
So it's kind of almost like inducting the LAFC fan base into what other MLS teams have felt and just in the cycle. Like, is this truly a cycle of just what it's like to be a fan for a team that you deeply care about?
I mean, the league is forced parity.
Yeah.
That's why you have a salary cap. Ours is not necessarily salary cap related so much as COVID related, and some guys shouldn't be here. So to the people that are like, there needs to be a change. Yeah, you're right. There should have been a change, but they kind of can't really get out from underneath some of these things because the market has stagnated. Look, there is still some time open in the market. So there could be a Diego Rossi sale. There could be a Brian Rodriguez sale. Maybe Jose Cifuentes or Atuesta, who both played pretty well in this game. So there could be changes coming. But yeah, if you're in it for the long haul, welcome to MLS. This is how it works.
We're here, we're in it. And you know, Connor, just building off of what you said about just being comfortably numb, I almost take that as a lack of energy from this team. It seems every game that I watch, you know, the first 10, 15 minutes, we're dominating possession. We're taking shots. We're playing aggressively. You're checking all these boxes, and it's like, yes, this is the LAFC team I've been waiting to see. And then right around 30 minutes, you're like, what happened? Like something, they just start to deflate, and that energy's never picked back up, and it doesn't feel like there's anyone on the team anymore that they can look to rally behind that's like, I want to win this. We are not stepping off this pitch with another loss, with another tie, and it just feels something is missing.
But
Did you see it as the energy or their confidence was drained?
Both.
I feel like not having confidence drains your energy.
Yeah, I mean, it really tonight I saw it in both. You know, maybe it's the shots being so high. You know, I saw someone on Twitter asking if the goals at the training were 6 feet higher, and it starts to make you wonder. Like, we were even starting to bring in supernatural thoughts. Like, I mean, it kind of for me just goes back to like the energy.
Yeah.
But okay, so somebody had asked in the chat just kind of the tactics, and I think it was Ben. He was like, or Brian Cox asking why we were sending so many long balls. I don't think it was Brian Cox. That's the actor. And, yeah, sorry. The producers in my ear and said Brian Cox, and I was like, oh, that'd be awesome if Brian Cox was in our chat.
What's a Brian Cox?
Brian Cox, the actor. No? Okay.
Nope.
The tactics. I thought that, again, let's talk a little bit about what actually kind of happened in the game. I thought it was kind of spot on, especially when you consider what Vancouver wanted to do and what they did in the first game when they came to Big California Stadium. They clogged the middle. So LAFC said, Edward Atuesta, drop a little bit deeper away from that. They had about 5 guys in midfield.
Yeah.
Drop a little bit deeper. And if they're going to put 5 guys in midfield and have our 3 who are superior talent in Vela, Rodriguez, Rossi, and then even when Chicho comes in, you're going to go 4v3. We can play direct. We'll play over you. And then we've got Sifu and Latif Blessing, who are great at picking up those second balls. And it was a good tactic. I mean, obviously, we're talking about how many opportunities they created. The only reason why this game is so disappointing is because of how many sheer opportunities they created that were big, big chances. We're not talking about half chances. These were big chances that were either ballooned over the bar, hit into the post. The finishing, sadly, did get a little bit better because, to your point,
Right.
those first 15 minutes, they were kind of probing.
Yeah.
And then they started to get opportunities and everything was over the bar. And we were like, oh, man, it's really bad. And then they started to hone in a little bit more. And they were starting to actually force some saves from the keeper. But, again, the reason why we're feeling this way is because it just never worked out.
Right. And, you know, Bernie Palomo in the chat was saying, like, if Bob's tactics weren't working, is it more the players, like we've been saying, need to continue to be taking these chances?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. Look, this is what a season is. Like, right? You can't just focus in on this moment and say, oh, God, we got to take our chances this game. You're supposed to take your chances every game, right? And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when you're in a rut. And literally, there's not much to say in that room other than, guys, we're the ones that got ourselves into this. We're the ones that are going to have to get ourselves out of it. And either we can sulk and we can look for answers outside of us, or we can try to play and sharpen our football a little bit better, and it can get better. But those guys have to there's got to be a strong mentality in that locker room to be able to say, yes, we lost, but we were doing the right things. And I know that they're going to see a lot of people's comments or Twitter saying, no, you guys just suck. It's not necessarily the case. They're going to have to keep a really strong mentality.
And we looked at, you know, Bob's presser. He talked about moments in the past and having to, you know, lift up their locker room right now and continuing to motivate these guys and get them, you know, out of this rut. But again, it just kind of, I'm looking at who's the person that's going to step up and do that. That's all I'm looking for. And, you know, moving right along, let's go into our stock falling. We're going to end on a positive note. We will have stock rising, but Connor, stock falling. Give me yours.
I think I'll relate it a little to your point earlier, Vince. You said that, well, we all talked about the energy of the team, the confidence of the team, and, you know, if Vancouver is going to play with 5 in the middle, maybe LAFC plays more direct to the top 3 because they are superior talent-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I look to someone like Carlos Vela. Keep in mind, he got injured, so of course, that's part of the equation, but if you're looking for one of your front 3 men, your franchise player, your top player all season, to be able to play him direct and make sure that he's able to either create clear-cut chances or score goals, he hasn't been doing that. And I know he's been kind of plagued with multiple injuries this season.
He didn't have much time on the pitch today, really.
No. But I do think the time he did have on the pitch, as well as maybe even more of a general stock falling. And also as well as maybe even in the locker room stock falling. I don't see that energy from the team. I don't see the willingness to get forward, to get into those clear-cut chances, and the energy and confidence from Carlos Vela. So Carlos Vela would be my stock falling.
Yeah, with Carlos on the field, it wasn't quite there. And I felt once Carlos came off, actually, Brian Rodriguez, of all people, actually upped his game. And then after Diego got the goal, he really upped his game.
Right, like the front 3 did look good.
Yeah.
Even after Carlos went off.
Brian was finally doing the things that we wanted to see him do.
Right.
Get to the space, pick out a man, and send a good ball, and they just weren't finishing, right? So that's not on Brian. I mean, he had a few times where he got bogged down, but for the most part, he was playing quick, he was playing decisive, all the things that he hadn't been doing. For Carlos, I think you're right. Something was definitely not right, and I think the broadcast alluded to it a little bit. Right. It seemed like he might have come into this game with a little bit of something, and they probably told him, go out there, see if you can do it. We have Chicho if we need him.
Right.
Don't push it too hard that you actually hurt yourself, but the second you feel a thing, it's turf, get off the pitch. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have actual info in it, but they alluded to it.
Right, because I mean, we didn't entirely see anything happen to him. He just kind of went down. No one was really around him. He had already looked to the sideline to give them the signal that he needed to come off. But how concerned should we be about this? Because they did show a shot of him, on the bench with ice on his quad, the same quad that he injured that took him a chunk out of the season earlier this year. So, I mean, I know we don't know much, but should we be a little nervous?
No, I'd be very concerned. I mean,
Yeah.
if that is in fact the same injury,
Yeah.
going into the Galaxy match.
Yeah.
I mean, are we literally going to have another no Vela, no Chicharito Galaxy LAFC match? It seems like as much as MLS pumped this up, like we're only ever going to get one of those ever.
Yeah.
It seems like it's just not going to
Maybe not even that.
No, we had one.
We did?
Yeah. The first one
Oh, yeah.
this year.
Earlier.
Vela didn't play that one, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Connor's been gone a long time.
I've been gone.
Vince, what is your stock falling?
My stock falling, and I don't want to hammer the guy, but Raheem Edwards. All we're talking about is how players need to be switched on. They all need to be of one mind, of one mentality.
Right.
And in that moment at 1-1, in that area of the field, you're playing left back, so every time
Right.
you engage a guy that it's going to be pivotal to just simply stand there and allow him all the time in the world to pick that out. I know we're not very good at crosses, but Raheem needs to know that.
Yeah.
We're not good at defending crosses, so the best way for us to defend crosses is to not let them happen, and he's just completely flat-footed, did not contest that ball at all. And I thought he brought some energy in some good ways, but this has been kind of the story of Raheem on LAFC is like he does some good things, and then there's just this wildly inconsistent and unfocused moment, and it's fixable.
Right.
But I don't know how many more opportunities you allow him to do that, especially when you're having a rut.
I love Raheem more than anyone here, but
I believe half the match you were saying Raheem
the Dream. Edwards. But I can't help but slowly come to the realization that Raheem may just not be at the competitive level LAFC needs a player like him to be at. Mentality-wise, he may be there, but just competitive level, the match fitness, soccer IQ, I don't know if he can really pull his weight around the team that much longer.
And, that kind of begs me to question, like, my stock falling is Tomas. Like, how many more opportunities, are we going to continue to see him have before there is a shakeup, or is there going to be one? It's just these late.
It's a tough moment to do it now, yeah.
These late game goals, going back 95th minute, 93rd minute, like it just seems to be such a consistent thing, and where it may not always be totally on him, it does also feel like, we need him to step up more from him. So what's your answer there?
Yeah, I mean, I think he could have done a little bit more on that first goal for sure. The second one's a tough one. Again, it's just the guy gets a free run and a free header, and he's kind of just nailed to his line. But I agree with you. He did much better in the Atlanta game, and so I was like, okay, maybe he's kind of leveled himself. But games prior, I was a little worried about his angles and kind of had happy feet when shots were coming in. So it's a bad moment to be thinking about goalkeepers again. And yeah, we're thinking about goalkeepers.
Well, the question is, so if Thomas Romero is this inconsistent, why isn't Pablo playing? Is there something more there? I know Bob, I mean, as much heat as you guys want to give him, Bob's not stupid. Yeah. So if Romero isn't playing good, he would put in Pablo Cisniega. Right. So maybe it's just let's wait it out. Maybe he'll smooth back into the swing of things. But, is there something about Cisniega that not all the fans get to see in training?
That's true. I mean, I harp on it a lot with fans. It's like we get to watch them for 90 minutes, which essentially, in the grand scheme of things, they train 5 days a week, about 90 minutes each time. So we get to see about a sixth of their actual performance, where these coaches, they get to watch it. And I've been there. I've been there at training. Like, the coaches literally they film training and then break down training as if it was a match. So these players are scrutinized every single day that they go on the pitch. So to Connor's point, maybe there is something that we don't know. So for us to just say, hey, just throw in Pablo.
Right.
We don't know.
That's like almost.
Ultimately, we're doing the fan thing. We ultimately do.
Right. Yeah. We're just trying to put the Band-Aid on something that we think could be fixed.
Yeah. It's like
scandal.
Yeah. It's like most things. You just look and go, that guy, get him out. Like.
Right. Right.
It's tough, but that's why we're fans. That's what we do.
Yeah, that is exactly what we do. We try to find wherever the faucet, the water's flowing the most out, and trying to fix it. But, let's switch things up. Let's talk about some positives tonight. All right, guys? We can do this. We can find the positives in this match. I know that our chat doesn't feel like there are, but we did have some positives. So Connor, kick things off.
Stock rising. The Vancouver Whitecaps.
Oh my gosh!
Get the Canadian off the set.
Positive here.
Well, no, let's be real. Both games that LAFC has played against the Whitecaps this season, us, as well as almost every LAFC fan, thinks, easy win. I even said, not the best Whitecaps team ever. They're not the greatest, but give credit where credit is due. They've beaten us twice. No, beat us once, drawn us once.
It felt like a loss.
Yes.
Which did feel like a loss, if we're being real. But
because we're used to beating Vancouver like 6-1.
But usually sometimes the West is, you see a big gap from the top of the pack and the bottom of the pack. This season, it's very competitive. It's not as, the good teams in the West this year, and we can beat Vancouver easily. No, it's each game we play is highly competitive. Each game is winnable and losable, if that's a word.
No, I mean, it's the East that's like the weak link. I mean, Toronto.
And New England.
I had to do that because you said Vancouver was stock rising. I said to throw that dart at you.
Oh, and look at that. Dark frames again with the Connor's return as their stock rising. Look at that, Connor. People are happy to see you. Vince, your stock rising.
My stock rising was Edward Atuesta, who's had a rough patch during this, and he was actually getting on the ball, dictating play. It definitely was a tactical adjustment that Bob wanted him to play direct and to get the ball to the front line as quickly as possible. And because if you remember, when we were first watching the game, we were like, the game's starting out pretty quick. And then they started to try to play through the middle a little bit. And we were like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And then Edouard just kind of said, guys, I got this, and started playing some direct balls, started playing some better passes. So I thought he did a lot of things right. And for me, a lot of it is born out of the fact that, I know how good of a player he is, and he simply has been anonymous the last few games. So it was nice to see him such a big part of the play in helping get the team forward. And then I guess honorable mention, Brian Rodriguez did some things that I was very surprised. Not very Brian Rodriguez-esque things, but that's good because it means he's doing probably the right thing.
Fair.
He also did some other things too.
Look, it's a 90-minute match.
Elaborate, Connor. It sounds like you disagree with Vince.
I won't say I disagree, but I also can see that there's no end product.
Whoa, whoa. No end product. How many times did he roll the ball, just a beautiful pass on that carpet, and somebody would put it into the goalie, over the bar?
He put somebody in a blender tonight. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so LAFC's non-winning streak. How many games is it?
Oh,
Maybe
stop it.
Seven games.
You and Jason
seven
both.
games.
As if this is a real thing.
Brian Rodriguez.
Stop it.
Oh, this
came
is
back
conspiracy
and made his
theory.
second debut for LAFC against Portland. That was the start of our winless streak.
He played 7 minutes in that game.
I think not.
Stop it.
Conspiracy theory alert. Conspiracy theory alert. Connor and our producer Jason, but I've just got to give a shout out here. my stock rising is going to be the fact that we have 3 home games now. Back the bank, 32-52. That's my stock rising.
The schedule?
No.
That's what I'm excited about.
But Haley, what's the next home game?
We can still get excited for the home games in the 32-52.
I'm curious, people in the chat that are still with us, how are you feeling about what the next home game is, knowing that it's the Galaxy? Here's just one wrinkle to throw at you, and I'm not trying to be a super optimist, but if you remember, almost every time we've played the Galaxy, except for the first game this year, they've been bad, abjectly bad. And the very bottom, where we would just sit there and go, I mean, LAFC literally has to shoot themselves in the foot to lose this game. And then the Galaxy would come out and they would play to the highest level that they could. It wasn't maybe technically the best, but they had a fire. They had something behind them. I mean, they literally just pushed LAFC around and they would win those games. How awesome would it be for once we turn the tables where LAFC is as low as they can be, and we just push the Galaxy around a little bit. And maybe it's not the most beautiful game technically, but we make them cry a little bit. That'd be cool.
I would love to make the Galaxy cry.
Yeah,
in
some Galaxy
any
tears.
situation possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's very possible because maybe this is a team, and we haven't entirely discussed this because, of late playing San Jose, some teams that were at the time below us in the standings. Maybe this is a team that just plays to the level of their competition.
Yeah.
And so going into this match against Galaxy, knowing that they are higher than them, maybe we'll see a different LAFC team show up.
Oh yeah, every player on this roster.
Well, and I would hope we would see a different LAFC team show up against this one.
Because every player on this roster has to be they have to be looking forward to this game. Because if you can't get up for this game, I can't help you. I can't. I really can't help you. And I'm not just saying that they need to get up and then like just beat them 3-0.
Right.
I know a lot of people equate winning with effort, but I do want to see a little bit of fire because get angry. I mean, what more do you have to lose at this point in the season? To be honest.
And I mean, so it's already begun. We're already wanting to talk about the next match coming up on the horizon. So whether this ended up being a trap game or not, Galaxy is on the horizon, which we will be talking about all week, as well as next week on the big show. But right now, we got to wrap up this one. So Vince, final thoughts on tonight's match.
Final thoughts. I've seen a lot of people asking me, like, when do we start firing people? It's not this season. Okay. I just don't understand. I don't like who's available out there right now that could come into this team with the way they play, with the exact style they have, and the players that they have, and personnel, and right the ship in the way you want it. Like I think Max Allegri coaches my team in Italy, and he's not coming anytime soon. He also doesn't speak English very well. So, look, this is a moment where I've said it a couple times. Like, you just have to all sit in that room and go, we are the only ones that got ourselves into this, and we're the only ones that are going to get ourselves out. There's no like manager bump that they're going to get from this, because what they're doing is just not finishing, and they're mentally not doing things, and they're mentally not strong. So they're going to have to look at each other in the eyes and just say, like, we're just going to have to dig ourselves out.
Here's a hypothetical. Just a quick hypothetical before we end it. Let's say there's going to be the same inconsistency this season.
Dio's not coming back, for everyone that says that he signed for a team in Qatar.
But let's say we sneak into the playoffs, right? Maybe make it past around, but we don't go too far. Do you make changes in the offseason?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, there has to be changes.
You make
I think what this team is suffering from the most is it's stale. And some of it is no fault of their own. A pandemic happened, and you would have thought that Diego Rossi, probably Edward Atuesta, probably Brian Rodriguez would all be gone, and a player of their caliber, or at least of their salary cap level, would come in, which are DPs and close to DP. So,
well, we got a bunch of new players this season. Don't forget.
I mean, not too many, but not in decisive areas. It's still the same drivers of this team, right?
Right, and I mean, Vince.
Sure, but that makes the team stale. You'd think that those guys, because they play with each other, know how each other plays?
I think it makes the team stale because in a lot of ways, a lot of those guys have known that they should have moved on. I'm not saying they're not trying. They're definitely trying their best. But look, this is the reality of a league that's not a top 5 league. You're always kind of thinking where you're going to go next. And remember, also, these guys played through a pandemic when they couldn't go home to see their families. They were from countries where it was bad.
They couldn't get home.
It was bad. You had Sifu talk to us about during COVID that he was just staying in his apartment because, one, he couldn't leave his apartment because he was afraid of getting COVID, and 2, he had no friends. Yeah. Like, he had to live. He lived through that.
Right.
And like still came out the other side. I mean, I got to give them some credit of what they've gone through. But yeah, every team. Look, cycles. It's all about cycles in soccer. Barcelona went through this. Every team has gone through this, where you have to move things along, and you have to bring in fresh ideas from fresh players. But I don't think it's, to your point, Connor, I think it happens after the season.
You know what we like to say? When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Oh, I thought you had something like different. I thought you were going to give me like a different one. Yeah, like swing.
No, that's the best one. That's the best one to keep in mind for all LAFC fans out there. When the going gets, dang it, I can't even say it now. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Okay. There we go. So let's hope that these guys, get going here pretty soon. And something is happening for everyone watching.
God.
And my final thought is, it was Connor's birthday last week, so
thank you, everyone. Oh my goodness.
So here's a positive. It was Connor's birthday a week ago.
Is that Ollie?
This is Ollie. Look who came to visit us.
Straight out of a nightmare. But thank you, Ollie. Would you look at that?
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Ollie's got some moves.
Why aren't you singing, Vince?
Yeah.
Because I'm too busy. I'm entranced by this.
Vince doesn't dance. Wait, Ollie, come back. Yeah, wiggle your way back in here. You have any thoughts on your birthday? Any words of wisdom?
Yeah.
I am now not just a boy man. I am now a man boy. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Are you gonna get your driver's license?
Sure. I don't know. Should that be a priority?
I mean, you know, man boy maybe drives himself.
A man. Okay.
Where are you going, Ollie? Ollie.
Bye, Ollie.
Ollie, you need to come back. We need you. We need you here, Ollie.
Ollie
We
just
need
flies off.
We need.
Sure.
All right, we do. All right.
Thank you.
Ollie's out, but
On that
thank you
note-
again for joining us. We really appreciate you. Ollie's back. You know, bringing us.
Ollie's got to get back to bank.
Thank you again. This was the 110 Football Instant Reactions postgame in partnership with Adidas.
Dance, Connor.
Dance, monkey.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.